can't understand how wife
what I'm
swapping is
saying,
the barometer of your morality.
that argument itself is terrible. Dr. Abraham Matai, take back that argument. What I'm saying take back that argument. Morally wrong. No, Dr. Abraham Matai, what you're saying is there are a lot of things going on wrong around us. This is one of them. So if we don't talk,
so what is morally wrong need not be criminal.
No, but don't.
What I'm saying is morally wrong.
So you think it's morally wrong? So you think it's morally wrong? Then stand up for it.
I'm a Christian. I believe in the Bible, but I don't say they're criminals.
But there are so many churches, all over the world which have accepted LGBT.
Arnab,
Dr. Mathai.
Arnab, with due respect to the Supreme Court, with due respect to the Supreme Court was itself caught between what is moral and what is legal. When they pronounced a rule of law on Justice A.K. Ganguly, it was based on an inquiry that was commissioned. The fact that Justice Ganguly refuses to resign in the wake of this scurrilous or this really serious commentary on his behavior, I mean, what are we talking about? The Supreme Court is to define law in consonance with the aspirations and the changing times we live in. It is not a court which pronounces moral judgment. Because let me ask the Supreme Court with grave reverence, how many of them, and would they like a scan of how many of them are straight and how many are?
No. One sec. Let's not get into that. No, let's not show disrespect, Joel. Let's not show that kind of disrespect. 1 second. Well, I strongly distance myself from what you've said. No, 1 second, sir.
Logical argument.
No, but the question is, no, 1 second. It's not. I do not want to have any personal remarks here against the Supreme Court. I have begun the program by saying we have a right to question the Supreme Court verdict, which I have. I am asking a question to all viewers of Newshour tonight.
Absolutely.
And I am asking this question to Purushottam Muloli, who has fought against the NAS Foundation. You really think, Mr. Muloli, that we should be together with Pakistan, Bangladesh, Zambia, Tanzania and Burundi, and only one notch better than Iran, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, Sudan and Mauritania, where homosexuality is an offense punishable by death? Is that the group of nations we, 21st century India, belong to? Answer my question, Mr. Muloli.
Look, Arnab, I will remain in the realm of court because I am there for 13 years, right from 2001, against the NAS Foundation's case. Perhaps you should revisit the petition and then look into that petition and what the court has given a judgment in the High Court, and then later the Supreme Court gave it away. That means it is squashed. Until and unless we look into that, what we are you people are talking in the outside is not the real truth there. If I say they have neither the High Court nor the Supreme Court ever mentioned anything about the homosexual. The judgment in the High Court, which is the operative part, is saying that adults in private. How can you convert that into the homosexual?
No, please.
What is the
please. I don't think you're aware of the judgment.
I don't think you read the judgment.
Read the judgment today.
I can't hear you.
Purushottam Muloli, with respect, I don't think you've read the High Court judgment or the Supreme Court judgment. Otherwise, you would not have said something as silly as that. You have not read it. I suggest you read it and then you make your arguments. Because this judgment, in fact, today's Supreme Court judgment talks about carnal intercourse against the order of nature.
Absolutely.
They may not. So, please, that
absolutely.
You know what is the implication?
And these words were written 150 years ago.
You have a whole judgment in your hand?
Wait.
I don't have a judgment,
no,
okay?
I'm sorry.
According to me, they have already said
the judgment is available online for people to read who can and must.
And I have read it. I have read it before coming here. Let me put this very clearly, and to even the other gentlemen who have spoken out here.
Okay?
I am a gay man, and I have not chosen to be gay or homosexual. I didn't aspire to be one. It's my natural orientation, and that's what I discovered when I was 15 and 16, and probably had I not been handled, I would have been dead by now.
Yes.
This particular judgment which has come out there very clearly specifies about LGBT rights, and it speaks about my rights in the Constitution and whether it upholds those rights or it doesn't uphold those rights. As far as Article 14, Article 15 and Article 21 go, my rights have not been upheld and I am not an equal citizen of this country as of today.
Absolutely
I am
right.
a criminal and I can be incarcerated any time. It has effects on my family, my nephews, as well as my friends. There is a larger community out there. There's a larger community out there which has come out after the Delhi High Court verdict of 2009, which was progressive. They have come out at their workplaces. They have come out in a lot of their neighborhoods.
And in fact,
and today they feel threatened that the court has not upheld.
With this debate will continue on a short break. Subramaniam Swamy says homosexuality is a malfunction of the human body that should be treated medically. We would have liked him to be on the debate, but since he's not, we'll debate that perspective, and I think Rahul Ishwar, even he will admit that that is completely wrong. Back in a few minutes.
This is Times Now, Super Prime Time. The News Hour Special Edition will be right back after this break.
No, one second. Can you hear me, Rahul? Rahul can't hear me. I don't think Rahul can hear me. Rahul, can you hear me, Rahul Ishwar? No, I don't think Rahul can hear me. By the way, Sohail.
No.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Sohail, go ahead.
You made a point, and I think it bears reflection. You know, we can't live in a country where, for various reasons, whether it's corruption, whether it's poverty, impoverishment, we continue to stifle our people for some reason or the other. We then have a parliament which, for various reasons, again doesn't work. The only thing that works is the judiciary. When an entire nation rests all its hopes on a judiciary, it expects the judiciary, like it has done in other cases, to either take suo motu notice or to be proactive. In this situation, what has happened is, perhaps the judges of the Supreme Court are right in saying, oh, it's for Parliament to make laws. But I'm sure they understand that this is not a Parliament that's interested in making laws. This is a Parliament that is interested in disruption. It's a Parliament that is interested in fighting over the trivial of issues. So where does the average Indian
I have problems with the wording of the Supreme Court.
Swami on Newshour.
No, I have problems even with the wording of the Supreme Court.
Where does the average Indian go? Should we ask?
No, 1 second.
Should we ask the Fiji Parliament, or should we ask David Cameron or Obama for succor?
No,
what is going on in this country?
I agree.
No one wants to raise these issues.
The court.
Today you have a situation in Delhi where we have oppositions but no government.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at every place we have a problem for a solution. So my question is, on a thing like this, where, as Parmesh says, millions of Indians, their families are involved, why again expect the politician to be responsible when his or her track record has been one of absolute irresponsibility?
You know, I don't know.
I really don't know what to do. I'm not sounding cynical. But one doesn't know where the answers are going to come.
I don't know what will happen next, Sohail, like you. But I saw the court today use a phrase, it says, in its anxiety to protect the so-called rights of LGBT persons. So-called rights of LGBT persons, when you make a statement like that, you begin on the presumption that LGBT persons don't have rights.
And it is the duty of the Supreme Court to protect its minority.
So, you know, and
how can it use language like this?
It's the duty of the Constitution to grant equal dignity to every Indian, irrespective, regardless of his or her sexual preference, his or her caste, his or her creed, or his or her economic
status. And it goes on to say,
that is our Constitution.
That
is what we gave ourselves as we the people.
Yes. And it goes on to say, point number 52, it talks about the fact that the High Court in its judgment had relied on the judgments of other jurisdictions, other countries, and says, though these judgments shed considerable light on various aspects of the right and are informative in relation to the plight of sexual minorities, we feel they cannot be applied blindfolded for deciding the constitutionality of the law enacted by the Indian legislature. In other words, the world may be changing, and people's sexual minorities may have terrible plight, but we can't do anything about it. We are India.
But when it matters to them,
then why do we have metros? Let's get back to bullock carts. Why do we context ourselves against global nations?
Yes.
Well, I don't know.
Why is the rupee pegged to the dollar? We might as well say, we want to protect our culture, we want to protect our people, we don't want the outside world.
Yes,
what kind of a country are we becoming?
I would like to bring a particular a policy dichotomy out here. As a director HIV programs of the Humsafar Trust, we are implementing several HIV programs, and the monies come through the health ministry to us, and we are implementing them on the ground. Now, on one hand, we are implementing HIV programs, so we are giving condoms to people and saying have safe sex and ensure that you're protected from HIV. And one hand, we have a Supreme Court verdict which says sex between two men would be considered criminal. So technically that makes me a criminal as a health provider. Even my outreach workers, my field staff, and the entire machinery up there through the bureaucracy up to the health ministry, are they criminals that they are running health programs?
You know, I've seen all kinds of arguments, and Rahul Ishwar has been at the forefront of all of this. And I'm glad he's back. He said that homosexuality is a medical condition. He says that homosexuality spreads AIDS. He says it is against the order of nature. He has said it is not part of Indian culture. And he has been on the side of people who have said that, he says deal with them with compassion, they have a problem. Rahul has made all those points. Rahul, I just want to ask you today, after hearing all these gentlemen who are also young Indians, you believe you're in a minority, Rahul? Do you realize that you may be in a minority very soon, and you have to hide behind the Congress, BJP and other parties hoping that you will put fear in these parties, the Congress and the BJP, and you'll tell them that you know what, if you are for gays, the rest of the Hindus and Muslims and Christians won't vote for you. That seems to be your last resort, the religious argument. The vote bank politics argument, Rahul, is all you have left right now.
Arnaji, two things. Arnaji, two things. It doesn't matter whether I'm in majority or minority. It only matters if I get it scientifically right. Second, I concede the point of view when if somebody of eminent stature says it's a malfunction, disease or illness, I don't, or even science doesn't agree with terms like that. It is not a perversion, it is a diversity in behavior which can be called different or deviant. That needs to be debated. My humble submission is, let us debate and discuss it. I understand the anger of my good friend Suhail Said, but let us not personally attack Supreme Court or anybody who has a slightly different point of view.
No, we're not attacking the Supreme Court.
Let us discuss and deliberate.
We're not attacking the Supreme Court.
I'm not attacking the Supreme Court. 1 minute. I'm sorry. Please do not put words in my mouth, Rahul Ishwar. I'm pretty articulate myself. I'm not attacking the Supreme Court. A, I'm attacking the judgment, which I have every right to do. B, I'm not imputing motives to the Supreme Court. C, I'm saying that the Supreme Court must recognize and be cognizant of a changing India, which I'm sure they are, and they've expressed it in other judgments. So why in this one is there been a departure? Finally, let me tell you, Rahul, your argument in itself is fallacious, and I'll tell you why. What do you mean by diversity in behavior? For a person who's an LGBT, your behavior might be diversity. Who are you to take a moral or the moral high ground on these issues? We are equal. We are equal. We live in harmony. There are families that are involved. We need to respect them. We don't need to be patronizing. A Rahul Ishwar can't determine whether he should be patronizing to people who have their individual sexual preferences.
So Rahul's argument, Rahul's argument is I've got the numbers on my side. So I'm right.